The views and opinions expressed on this podcast, including discussions on news, politics, and current events, are solely those of the host and guests and are based on personal thoughts, experiences, and opinions. Nothing stated should be considered factual unless independently verified by the listener. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not provide financial, legal, medical, political, or life advice. Any actions discussed are what we would do personally, not recommendations for others. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research and consult qualified professionals before making any decisions.
Yo, what up? We're back for another episode of Forward Social Conversations, where we talk about a lot of things, but not everything, because everything don't need to be talked about. I got some fellas over here. Y'all, they might be new to you. Some of you might know them. Some of you may not, but we're going to see who they are today. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
There?
Now, y'all can start with, I guess we'll start with the, I'm going to call him, hey, look. I call this man Christopher Williams.
Oh,
man.
You know what, man? This the problem with men's mental health right here. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on?
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, I'm Diamond. You know, just wanted to come in here and talk to y'all real quick. You know what I'm saying? You know, Father's Day just came up. How was y'all fathers? How did that go for?
Mine went pretty well.
Yeah.
It's the first year without my father. I don't have kids of my own, but
God
my
bless
father,
you, Dad.
I appreciated that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so-
All right, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Red. Friend with Leon. He done drugged me in here this morning. I wouldn't have made it, but nah. Much respect to Mr. Hines.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. My name is Malik. Been knowing Leon for quite a few years, going in the barbershop. You know, his buddy Mo hooking me up and everything like that. Good people.
Yeah. And yeah, so we're here today to talk about Father's Day. Father's Day, men's mental health, accountability, all that and more. You know, whatever will come up. We're just having a conversation. This ain't no interview. This is Forward Social Conversations. So, and you brought up, I think it was you who brought up.
Mhm.
You said your father, what you
Recently
just said?
passed.
Recently passed.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So
yes.
how's that been for you?
Rough. It's like it's nothing that you can really describe to put like a feeling to say. It's just a bad hurt feeling, you know, where it's days you feel like you coming along and out of all of a sudden, bam, it's like something just hit you and feeling overwhelm you and you miss your father. So I've been going through that.
Do you feel that more because it was Father's Day itself? It wasn't around? I should say.
Like, you know how we done this years ago. I start thinking this way. Like every day was a Father's Day to with my father.
Gotcha.
And just that one day didn't make it no different than any other day. You know, I always did my best and do things for my father every day. So a lot of people ask me, like family members call and they would say, you know, everything is all right. I know this is your first Father's Day. But I was like, nah, I'm good. I miss my father no more than I missed him the day before or gonna be the day after.
Mm-hmm. What was y'all's relationship like?
Close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, close. My parents been together my whole life. And, you know, they moved down from New York and came down here. I came down in 2001 and, you know, we always been a close-knit family. I have a brother also here. With him gone, it's like, I explain it this way. It's like somebody cut your leg off.
Mm-hmm.
You can function, but you know that leg is gone. And that's how the feeling is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you feel because after your father leaving, or did that kind of draw your family somewhat?
Talking to the mic, Red.
Did it kind of draw your family somewhat apart?
Oh, no.
So as you said, y'all was a close-knit family.
Yep, still close-knit. Yep.
Cool.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Now you said your mother and your father worked at
Yes.
Trade Center?
Trade Center. My mother's
Oh,
actually
wow.
a World Trade Center survivor.
Wow.
And the topic that Leon brought up with, you know, mental illness, my mother suffered from post-traumatic stress. And so that's like difficult. And, you know, when you get up there in age, my mother is 76 years old. You know, they forget a lot of things.
Mhm.
And with that post-traumatic stress, it's like, it's rough.
Yeah.
And losing my father and just 4 months ago, before my father passed away, my mother lost her sister that was close to her. Her sister, older sister, was like a mother to her. So dealing with all of that is hard. Real hard.
Right.
Real hard.
Wow. So 9/11 happened. Y'all came down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was down visiting, and I was actually on my way back up to New York. And when the Trade Center happened, all the building and all that stuff came down. My mother was right there. She walked right across the street from it. And there was a period of time during that day we were trying to call her, but it was no communication. So in your mind, you wondering what happened. And, eventually we got in touch with her, and she only had 3 more years to retire at the bank, but she couldn't deal with it. The mental stress. She couldn't hear airplanes go overhead. She couldn't go over bridges, through tunnels, any loud noises. Yeah, man. So
It's deep.
like a couple of weeks later, she moved to North Carolina, and I came up and helped. And, it came on down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah, now, that's a serious type of mental illness, that she suffered.
Right.
Yeah. Ray, your father still living?
Yeah, my father's still alive.
Okay.
Blessing, man.
That's good. So how was your Father's Day? Speak on your Father's Day. How was that? I know you got kids too.
Yeah, I was gonna say my Father's Day pretty much dealt with me having children. I got 4 children, and of course I hear from all 4 of my kids, which made just hearing them tell me, Happy Father's Day or whatever, just lets me know that they appreciate me and the things that I've done with them over, their life. I raised all 4 of my kids, by myself, So yeah, that was good to hear from them. Me personally, with my father, of course, I did the same thing. I reached out and told him Happy Father's Day, and we had a brief, a brief communication. We talked for a short period of time, but it just felt good for me to reach out to him as well and to let him know that I'm proud of the things that he did with me and my siblings as we grew up with him. So yeah, the big thing with my father, he was in the military, so. Going from place to place, we basically grew up in one area, but he was always there to take care of the family like he should have been doing. Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What about Father's Day? Well, I'm a dad too. I got a 4-year-old. How old are your kids?
My kids are basically adults now, 20, 27, 25, 23, and then I got an 11-year-old.
All right. I got you. Okay. I'm sure you blinked and then boom, here they are, huh? Yeah, that's how it feels when
they grew up fast, man.
I'm telling you. Like tomorrow, my son's gonna be asking me for the keys. I'm like, no. I ain't ready for that yet. I ain't ready for that. Son? He's 4. He's 4. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to blink. I wake real hard. He think he's 30. I'm gonna tell you. But no, I had a great Father's Day. Went for a round of golf. I don't know if y'all golf.
You might do some play.
Yeah.
Golf or something.
Yeah.
Like you're a professional.
No. That was my second game ever, and it was rough. It was rough out there, but I was out there for the love of the game. You know what I mean? But no, it was great. And every Father's Day, I think about it too. I raised my son. I had him. It was pretty much just me and him from the time he was born until I just recently got married, and my wife has come in a big way for that. But
oh yeah, I know that's a big
yeah. I just think about it being a dad now, thinking about how I want to raise my son and the types of home I want to have for my son, and I always reflect every day as much as I can, but especially on Father's Day, just thinking about like how I was raised and what part of that I want to carry on and teach to my son, and what parts I want to change. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what. I know we all have different relationships with our fathers. What are some things y'all would want to carry on? You know what I'm saying? Or hope that you took from him. You know what I mean?
Well, me personally, you know what I'm saying? I mentioned I have 4 children, but 3 of my children are females. I have 3 girls, and with me having 3 girls, I these with 1 boy. And so the relationship that I've built with my girls is completely different than the relationship I built with my son. You know what I'm saying? I think me and my son more like connect with each other more than I do with my girls. No disrespect to my girls, but I can communicate better with my son. We kind of see eye to eye.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that my girls, they didn't have their mother around during the time when I raised them or whatever. So that itself kind of put a lot of pressure on me as well. So I had to kind of reach out with, female friends that I knew just to get advice or just have to go with my own instinct or whatever.
Yeah.
And, luckily enough, I came out, right. My children are all successful. Two of my daughters went to A&T and graduated from there. So they're doing extremely well. My son is now currently in the Army.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? He's a staff sergeant there. So the advice I gave them seems to me to, makes me proud of, the things that they achieve. And unfortunately, I mentioned I have an 11-year-old, so I pretty much have to start all over again. So
hit the reset on him, didn't he?
Yeah, but you said you have a son, so I'm pretty sure that you set great examples for him, to want to follow in your footsteps.
I'll try to, for sure.
Yeah. This guy here.
Me, no kids.
No kids,
but
right.
My father did things like me growing up in Brooklyn. My father was part of the neighborhood where he formed the basketball league. He was the head coach, and he used to get tickets from the job he worked at for Yankee games. And he would bring some of my friends to the Yankee games and coach the basketball team. And,
that's great.
It was more like he didn't have his father to raise him. He had a stepfather to raise him. So it always gave me a sense that, always be responsible to anyone, family members younger than me, or I have a niece and a nephew, but they grown now.
Right.
One is a sergeant in the Air Force, and my niece graduated from UNC. So
right on.
now everybody grown. So, but I still can partake that knowledge and pass on to my little cousins and stuff like that who I talk to, and whatever good that he taught me, I try to teach them as well.
All right.
How does it feel not to have any kids, man? You ever thought about? I mean, how does that fit? Is that planned?
I never really thought about it. Never in my life.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I never thought about having children in my life. I never thought about it. I've been asked that question, and this is a question I asked back. Which in my mind, when you get older, you start to think, like, I'm here for my mom since my father passed away. If something happened to me, I tell someone like my brother who have 2 children, grown, or family members, y'all have children. Imagine when I get old, I might have to go into retirement, a nursing home or something.
Right.
But y'all have children that,
Pull that mic.
Y'all have children that can be there for y'all. So that's the only difference in my mind where I think about is how would I be if I got older and there's nobody there to be for me. So,
well, I would say that not me in general, but there's probably men out there that have children as well, and maybe they don't have a good relationship with their kids.
Right.
Of course, I've had a great relationship. Well, I still have a great relationship with my children. You know what I'm saying? But I look at it as, what if there's a father out there that doesn't have a good relationship with his kids?
Right.
Do you expect for your kids to take care of you when you get older? So it's a process that you want to, when your kids is young, you take care of them. But as they get older as you get older, your kid's job is to take care of you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's
I
a fact.
look at it that way.
Because I've met people, just how you described, who I know with children that are grown, and it was like, don't think because they grown, they don't trust their children to be for them there when they get older.
Right.
So they was like, just how you described, like if they're not getting, the proper understanding and respect is from them being raised, treated right, and when their parents get to an age to help them, right? If they're not getting it,
or we living in the time of day where they label some men to be deadbeat dads. They have children, but they're not doing the things that they need to do for their kids. So again, as they get older, how can they expect for their children to take care of them?
That's right.
Yeah, I feel like when I think about that, I'm like, man, if you take a sports, for example, like if you I want to win a championship in basketball.
Right.
The way you get there isn't by saying I want to win a championship. You fall in love with the process.
Right.
And so if you fall in love with the process of raising your kids, showing up with love every day, giving them a safe environment, I think those things kind of take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying?
True. Right.
Yeah, I think as long as you lead with love, you know what I'm saying? And obviously as a believer, I'm gonna put Christ in there as well. I think those things they fall into place as they should.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's like, it was for me naturally to go help my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, my father, when he was in the hospital, to help him, and when he was sick at the house. It was just something natural where you don't even have to think about it, just automatic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think kids aren't for everybody. I will say that. But I will say, I think if you're concerned about the type of parent you would be, your head's in the right place. You know what I'm saying? Like if you I wonder if I'm going to be a good dad or this, that, and the third. I think that's a good approach. And I think the ones that are don't think about it at all,
right?
I think it shows. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I heard you earlier. You mentioned that you do have one child.
I do.
Do you think that you're going to have a second?
Coming in August.
It's already in process.
Coming in August. Yeah, got one on the way. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna run it up. You know what I mean? Got married, met the love of my life, and we building a home and a beautiful family together.
So, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I got this question right here. What, as far as being, I guess it's for Red and Donovan, as far as being emotionally present in your kids' lives, how can y'all describe that?
All right. So first off, I'm gonna say this. I love my dad. We have a great relationship. But I kind of want to get into maybe some not so glamorous things. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's true amongst a bunch of men. But when we talk about being emotionally available for your kids, well, when I was a kid, it was stop crying before I give you something to cry about. You know,
that sounds like everybody.
Right. So I try to find that balance of I definitely don't want my son to be scared. Yeah.
Right.
I never.
Not having fear of you.
That's right. I don't want him to be oh, my dad's coming. But it's kind of tricky finding that balance to where, okay, I want you to know this is a hard world. You're going to listen, you're going to behave, but you need to know that you're loved and that you're safe. You know what I'm saying?
True. Well, let me ask you this, because I understand you don't want your son to have any type of fear of you or whatever, but what about respect? It's kind of hard to balance the two when you want your son to respect you as well, right?
Right. Yeah, I think my approach to that is just accountability. Whatever I say, I mean.
Right.
So if you don't put that toy down, we not getting no snacks tonight. It ain't no snacks tonight. Okay. There's no negotiating. There's no, you know what I'm saying? And you can't say it's in 2026, but I might, pop them every now and then. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead and say it, man. Go ahead and say it.
Hey, I was going to ask, is there a special way that you would discipline your son?
Yeah,
you know
man.
If things don't happen the way that you see fit for him to.
Yeah, I don't really believe in all that. Let's just talk it out. Let me just sit on the floor with you and, try and look like.
That's right.
I'm going to hear him out to an extent, but.
So as a child, did you have that routine as well with your father?
What's that? Getting popped?
Yeah, or sit down and talk. Some parents may have their children and go to timeout or something. It ain't so much about getting popped.
Wasn't no timeout. It was the fear of God. Before we went in somewhere, it was, y'all can show out here if you want to.
Right.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. And it's amazing because, and it's why whenever my dad had 5 kids, so it's 5 of us, and we going out everywhere. And I just remember people used to come up to us. They'd be like, tell my dad, "Oh my God, your children are so well behaved." Oh my, they don't know when we were in the car before. It was
they don't know why y'all so well behaved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And how were you with yours? Did you well, I know you had girls, and but
right.
with your son?
I think I look back on my situation on how I grew up. First of all, I was adopted as a child, you know what I'm saying? So my father and my mother are not really my biological parents, but those are the only parents that I knew. So of course I always called them my mom and dad. But my situation, kind of like yours, but it wasn't through my father, it was through my mother. And my mother, treated me and my siblings a certain type of way. And I didn't want to raise my kids that way.
That's right.
Any type of punishment or anything like that. So I basically tried to, I wouldn't say it's a good way to go, but wanted to be friends with my kids, not friends where I let them take control of me. I'm still going to be a father, but I don't want to raise my kids the way that I was being raised. You know what I'm saying? So like you, I wasn't violent with my kids or anything like that. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's the steps that I took with them.
Yeah, even with me when it comes to raising like he said, girls, raising two girls and boys is different.
Right.
I'm glad I ain't have no son because I think I would have been too rough. That's the way I think, and it may be because of where I come from,
Right.
But I think I would have been too rough. Raising girls kind of humbled me a little bit.
Right.
Well, shall I say humble? It just made me a little bit
Give you
more
a different
passive.
perspective on certain things.
Yeah.
You can't be as hard with girls as
right.
you are with a boy.
And even with now, sometimes they might do something and I think before I say anything or react. Or sometimes I might react and be like, oh, I should have did that. I should have said that, But I'm definitely conscious of what I say and how I say it. Most of the time.
I was the same way, but like you said with my son, I was quick to jack him up. I don't know. Trust me, anybody watching this, I'm not saying that's the right way to go, but with my son, I had to keep him on a different track than I did with my daughters. You know what I'm saying? So
See, my son, he's 4, and he likes to play rough. Like, he'd be like, Daddy, can we fight with our fists? I'm like, man, I'll knock him over with a pillow. He like, do it again.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
But outside of the relationship with you, though, you want to teach it. You wouldn't think you want to teach your son, how to stand his ground, how to fight, not in a violent way, but
defend
when he gets older and he goes to school or something like that, you don't really teach him, what steps he needs to take in those type of situations.
Yeah, I mean, I think I grew up and I was scared. I grew up scared, like scared to express myself, scared of contact in sports, this, that, and the third.
Oh, so that's why you call you Christopher Williams. Okay.
Hey, Christopher Williams was a gangster.
You good. It took a while, though. I was grown and I joined the Air Force, in the military, all this other stuff. It kind of like, I was like, oh no, this is good. This is how a man is how we meant to be. And so when I think about like, I'm sorry, you said with my son, I want him to know that life is hard. You can do hard things. And like, I don't want him to be timid. I want him to be, brave, courageous, go out there in the world, not be afraid of contact, whether that's, sports or whether that's just an obstacle. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to raise a child in what they call it. You ever seen that movie Bubble Boy?
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I want him to be ready for the world.
Right. Well, I also ask, I guess when boys are growing up and they get older, they end up in relationships. And as a man, we're always taught that we need to, protect and provide and be safe for a woman in the relationship. So as I taught my son, you know what I'm saying, to always defend, not just himself, but who he cares about. My son now has a little daughter and he's in a relationship. So for him to be able to protect and, his girlfriend or his daughter or whatever, they would need to know the steps to, being able to take care of the way to protect them.
That's right.
That's why I asked about your son. I know he's only 4 years old. It's a big difference, So.
Yeah. We got a karate gym down the street. He about to he about to get in there.
Okay. Gotcha.
And one thing for me, like I always often say, was I wish I was a little bit not hard on my daughters, but wrestled with them a little bit, made them a little tough, just because, like you say, how the world is today, bullies and don't know what to expect from different people. I wish I would have been a little, like my uncle used to wrestle with me, put him in the head like a little bit, just to give him some kind of awareness, some self-defense, you know.
That's right, yeah.
Tried to put him in karate one time, but he cried. They didn't want to do it. Yeah. And let me clarify this. I said Christopher Williams was a gangster.
Mhm.
I didn't
We
mean
ain't
that
got it.
literally, but you know, some people take it out of context. Oh, he wasn't no gangster, but he wasn't that soft. You hear some of his stories. They say he was a little bit of a problem.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. I had to clarify that. You know
That's
how these
right.
internet people be.
I'm a bit of a problem too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you about to retire, ain't you?
Getting out, yeah, getting out, yeah, yes indeed,
Okay.
yes indeed.
Yeah.
Been in for about 10 years, coming up on 11 in April next year, and it's coming up on that time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask y'all this right here. Have y'all ever been in a place where you thought, I don't know if have any of y'all ever seen a therapist
Mhm.
but have you ever thought at one point in your life that you was having a mental breakdown or mentally challenged about something and you shaking your head? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna say this now because I feel very comfortable with where I'm at. Thank God. I struggled with mental health for most of my life. Not getting into the all the details of how I grew up. It was we had our fair share of drama, trauma growing up, and a lot of instability, a lot of just mental health issues. And I think from 8 years old is the first time I really felt depressed, until I was 28. For so 20 years in that time, like I just thought that depression and anxiety were just things that I was just going to have to live with. I thought it was going to be a part of life. I thought that I just needed to accept that. In that time, I saw therapists, I talked to chaplains, talked to my friends, talked to my loved ones. And, I think that for a long time, it was good to learn how to speak because, I feel like growing up, you can't speak on anything like that or you soft or,
Right.
this, that, and the third. You get clown like, oh, you shouldn't even, why you even feel this way?
Right.
So it took a long time to learn how to talk about it. And then after a while, I was like, okay, just talking about it I'm not learning how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Then my son was on the way, and that was kind of like the battery in my back to be like, okay, I need to work on these things.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that having kids doesn't change you, it just magnifies what was already there. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to work on myself to make sure that I'm okay, so that I'm not bleeding on him. You know what I'm saying? And during that time, I started, I started looking more into Christ and Jesus. And I noticed that at my lowest, I was doing everything turning up my back on God. I was drinking in college, partying or talking to different women, this, that, and the third. And I noticed that the more I turned my back, the more hollow I felt, the more empty I felt.
Right.
And then with my son on the way, I started cutting back on all that. I started looking into it. And the more I turned to God, the stronger I felt mentally, to where now I can say, thank God, thank you, Jesus. For the last 5 years, I've never had any depression, any anxiety.
That's great. That's great.
But yeah. I had a long journey with that. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me on the other hand, I see the therapist for a little while. I think my therapist though came from, again, my past situation. I had a lot of issues with my mother. Again, I mentioned my father was in the military, so he was always going out to sea or on duty and stuff like that. So my father wasn't around as much as my mother was as a child. But I always reflect back to the things that my mom did to me, and I guess this is the time for me to say, like, I was abused as a child with my mother. The things that I went through, like I said earlier, that I went through with my mom, I did not never want to take my kids through those, raising them that way. But the things that happened to me in the past, I made choices that I went the wrong route because I was trying my best to.
What's going on? I hope that you are enjoying this episode, but I wanted to take the time out to ask you to please subscribe to the podcast. I've noticed that a lot of people are watching but are not subscribed. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way, you won't miss an episode when it's aired or about to air. And also, make sure you go to impelforwardmerch.com. That's impelforwardmerch.com. Grab you something. Now back to the episode.
Get away from the situation that I had with my mother. And when I was a teenager, I started selling drugs, and I was a drug dealer all the way up until I was about 25 years old. Um, if you notice, I have a dent here in my head, a hole in my neck, because I made choices on the streets, that I shouldn't have made because I was trying to get out of one situation, and I ended up in another situation that, not trying to say it in a funny way, I was dead. I was in the hospital for a while. But when I went through situations like that, it also caused me to have depression and anxiety and even PTSD as well. And I wouldn't say I did it for maybe 10 or 20 years. I still suffer through those things today. I end up depressed or whatever, but I'm around, certain people that notice the things that I go through, and they help pull me out of those situations. So me knowing that, me seeing a therapist and me at times suffering through any of those type of situations or whatever, I basically catch on to them, and I surround myself around people that will help pull me out and get me back on track, whether it's my family, my children, or, my girlfriend who I'm in a relationship with. They all notice these things, and I talk to them and let them know about the things that happened to me in my past, so they'll know if I'm suffering through any type of situation.
I think it's interesting when you go through something traumatic, whatever it is, abuse, you lose a loved one, you go through these hardships, you turn to something that'll give you comfort in the moment.
That's right.
Drinking, drugs, women, whatever, or gambling, whatever it is. You turn to things that give you comfort in the moment to numb the pain, to not deal with it. But in the big picture, all it's doing is pushing it back to a later date.
Right.
And eventually you're going to have to pay that with interest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it just keeps getting added and you're not dealing with it. And I think that, because I did the same when it comes to something would happen, I wasn't coping in a healthy way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, I was looking for a Band-Aid, numb this right now so that I don't have to deal with it. But it never went away. Right. So I think that, that's why I'm just, now that I've been saved, now I found Christ and I really can turn to him. I know that that is the first healthy outlet, you know what I'm saying, that I really have. Yeah.
So you believe that, you finding Christ and building a relationship with God, that helped pull you out of a lot of differences that you face?
Yeah, I think it was little by little, and then you look back and it's kind of like this big change. But it started with, okay, I'm not drinking 4 or 5 nights a week. I used to smoke Black and Miles. I quit smoking Black and Miles, completely cold turkey. I would go to sleep at a regular hour, wake up at a decent hour. You know what I'm saying? It was things like that. And then I was like, I never gave it a fair shot. Like, I never truly looked into Christ and his story. Like, I grew up going to church and went through the motions, but it wasn't something that I was a true believer. You know what I'm saying? And I came at it as a skeptic. I had all these questions, all these concerns. And the more I looked into it, the more I found it to be true. And I started looking into his word, and it was, this undeniable peace, like, in my soul.
I've never experienced depression or anything like that, but I have experienced sadness. You know, losing family members back to back to back to back to back to back. And like you described, your religion pulled you through. A Muslim, Islam, God Almighty pulled me through. You know, encouraged me that the things in this world are all temporary. We all return to God. So things that I've lost, it's his will. I'll be saddened by it, but I can't question his will. That's the way he willed it to be. And all I could do is pray and hope to be reunited with, you know, family members that I, you know, love and lost.
So you say you've been saddened,
Yeah.
you know, by a lot of things. So you wouldn't think that saddening and depression kind of in the same.
It is, but I look at it as a temporary sadness because I'm not going to be here forever. Like, you find some people who depressed and they see their situation as hopeless. It's a hopeless situation. I never felt, you know, whatever God intended to be hopeless. God always make a way out. Whether I like the way out, which way he wanted the way out, I always kept that in mind. You know, that things will get better. Right? So that would keep me from, you know, just sinking all the way down, going into like a deep saddened depression.
Yeah. When you being sad about a certain situation, is that something, you know, a quick moment, or does it last for a day or two? Or, because that's how I look at depression. You know, when I'm depressed or whatever, I'm not feeling happy about something, whatever. I may sit at home for 2 days and I'm thinking about, you know, whatever got me in that position, and I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay in my room. And, you know what I'm saying? And I think, well, when a person is sad, you may go through the same process as well.
For me, being sad, it comes in spurts. It never get to, because they teach us in Islam not to be depressed. Because God Almighty, he has it all. He knows everything. You could pray to him. They teach us in Islam, if you have one instance where things go wrong, you got 2 reliefs coming. So always keep that in mind. And it always turned out that way. It always has turned out that way. If something didn't go right, I know something good is coming. I don't know when, but as far as like being real down, I don't want to go out and I don't want to do this. No, I never let it get to that point, because they teach us in Islam, that's Satan telling you things are hopeless. You know, we only human and we're going to feel certain things, but that's one of the things that they tell us in Islam not to do. Always have hope in the Almighty. And that helps me through.
Yeah. And I will say, I do think the word depressed gets thrown around a lot now. I think, you know, you hear a high school is like, yeah, I'm depressed. And it's like, what happened? My dog died and my girlfriend broke up with me. And it's like, you know, I think there's a overuse of the word now.
Hey, I don't know. People love them dogs, boy.
Yeah. For all the dogs. Now I get it. You love your dog, but I think that when people experience like real depression, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a light term.
No. What do you consider real depression?
Well, I'm not saying I own the definition of it. I just mean that I think, see, you're going to get my tinfoil hat going. You're going to get my tinfoil hat talking about big pharmaceuticals and things like that. Like,
down and out, in other words.
Right. I think that we're allowed to feel sad. I think that we need to have that space to say I'm sad. But I think that really what I'm talking about is these kids will go to a doctor. For instance, I took my son to a therapist after something that happened to him, and he wasn't in that office for 5 minutes. She didn't even barely get his name. She was like, oh, ADHD. Wow. She already had like 2 diagnoses. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Is like, I think that people are truly depressed, and you know what that is to different people. But on the medical side of things, I think that there's a lot of misuse of that term to,
I agree.
Here's a prescription here, here's a prescription there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You don't get me started. Don't get me started, man.
Well, with you being in in what
Air Force.
Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a lot of different things with that?
Yeah, I'm a recruiter, so when kids come in, we deal with their medical backgrounds all the time. And that's why I'm like, you get a kid's like, that's what I'm saying. They're in middle school and their girlfriend broke up with them, and then they go to the doctor, and then here's a year of antidepressants. It's like,
man, that ain't good.
you know what I'm saying? And you see it so much that you realize like, no, this is everywhere.
Would you say that they're in middle school and high school, like that's the only experience they know? It seems big to them because they're at a young age. They don't know what they're going to face as, once they become adults or whatever. But at that time, them breaking up with their girlfriend or something like that, that may hurt them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think I'm not saying the pain isn't real.
Right.
I'm saying that when you put a kid on antidepressants at 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that part.
I agree the pain can be real, but I'm saying that doesn't mean here, take this medicine in order to feel happy.
Right.
That's
I think what you're saying is sometimes people in that sense right there, you take them to a counselor or therapist or whatever, they may label them.
That's right.
Right.
As depressed or whatever the case may be.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
End up on it for a long period of time.
That's right.
I can't the wrong remedy.
Exactly. I can't tell you how many times somebody trying to apply will come to me and they'd be like, I was not depressed. I took that medicine for a week and I stopped taking it because I didn't like how it made me feel.
Right.
And then, but now it has this, when you try to join the military, it has like, we can see all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I think the pain is real, but I think, and what Leon was saying is, for the insurance purposes, they have to diagnose you.
Yeah.
They have to diagnose you to classify the appointment as something. So, anyway, yeah.
Well, say that it is a kid that is going through that type of depression. Can you stop them from getting any type of medication? And is there other ways to make them feel better or to heal them without taking any type of antidepressant or anything like that?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think I'm not saying antidepressants are all bad. I think that there are kids that you take that medication and there's a clear improvement in their mental health and things like that. But I think there's a generation of kids that don't play outside. There's a generation of kids that aren't getting in the Bible, aren't getting it, or aren't having experience in life outside of a phone or a tablet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't think that there's a one size fits all.
Right.
Kids take this and you're gonna feel better. I just think that, I'm of the mindset of let me try and touch some grass. Let me go try and, work out and get a good endorphin release, whatever, before I say, okay, let me go and take this medication.
Right. Because that stuff is, I'm not an expert or know a whole bunch of things about it, but if somebody got some kind of chemically mental imbalance and they need some type of depression medicine, then that's different. But they're like how you say, they're coming in and say, I'm depressed, my girlfriend is something at that age, and you say, take this medication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like they ain't even trying. They don't even know your middle name. They don't know your birth. They just like, here, boom, here's some medication.
Right.
I think that's, yeah. And you see how they're being incentivized to prescribe these medications, and it's like, okay, it's a business.
Yeah.
Now, before we got on camera, Malik, you was talking about something Shaq said about bringing some of his problems to a woman or in a relationship or something. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I seen recently on a podcast, not knocking Shaquille O'Neal. And he was on this podcast and he told the brothers, I don't discuss my problems with my women, because they're already emotional. And by me talking to them, it'd be a problem for me to give them my problem to make their day worse. And when I looked at that, first I look at our parents. Our parents are heroes. My father would talk to my mother, Then you go outside of that, you look at Malcolm X wife, Dr. King wife, Jackie Robinson wife, Medgar Evers wife, and other great people wives. They all, sought relief with their wives and support. So for him to say that, and he also said that you're not a real man if you talk your problems with your wife. So
that's the part I was getting at, because the first part you said with his women, of course, I don't know. I don't know if he's married again or not. I don't think so.
I don't think he is.
Now, with him discussing with women, I get it. But when he said the part with men shouldn't discuss it with their wives, that's just crazy.
Yeah, he said you're not a man if you do that.
I just think you got bad choice if you marry somebody that you can't talk to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if bad decision making if you chose to make a lifelong commitment to a woman that you can't have a conversation with.
That's true.
I know. I mean, we just got married in February, so I'm not talking like I've been married 30 years. Hope to get there.
You're ahead of me, so I'm you're ahead
of me too. But I will say with my wife, we have it where, look, like we've talked about everything from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Off rip was like, okay, do you want to have kids? You know, do you want to? How do you feel about religion? How do you feel about this, that, and the third? And we lay it all out. Our communication is everything. And so, and personally, I mean, I don't know, Leon, maybe you might, I don't know how you feel. I just couldn't marry somebody that I can't talk to.
No, I'm not married, but I agree with you already. You ain't got to tell me that. You know what I'm saying? But
that's the truth.
You know, piggyback of what you're saying, I think is excellent, you know what I'm saying, for you to look at your wife and you're able to communicate with her. I think communication is one of the, biggest characteristics in a relationship. You know, when you can go to your wife and you can talk to her as if she's your best friend, I think that will, add on to many, many years of marriage because you guys are able to accomplish the things that y'all need to accomplish going through the steps of, being married.
That's right.
And of course, I'm not a guy that's been married like you or whatever, but just dealing with women and learning the things, the do's and don'ts, and that type of nature. I think that would carry people, at a good distance. I agree as far as being married.
Yeah, and I think a part of what Shaq was talking about is like you can't open up. I do think there is a generation of men that was like, you can't talk about that. Like you're supposed to keep that in here and here.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the saddest things.
But they really do say that in our society that men really hold a lot of stuff in. And I think that's what causes men to be, have a lot of stress on them because they can't open up. As a child growing up, you don't have a partner. You're raised by your parents and you don't go talk to, well, I don't know a lot of people that go talk to their mom and dad about what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? So you hold a lot of stuff in. And when you become a man, you carry that, for so many years. You can't go to your girlfriend or your wife and say, hey, I'm facing this, that, and the third. I need help. No, they just handle it on their own.
Because you looked at as weak if you talk about your
that's why earlier I said I suffer from, PTSD, you know what I'm saying? Because I hold a lot of stuff in. I can't go to anybody and discuss what I'm facing because not saying that person wouldn't help me, but I wouldn't take the first step because I'm not used to, going that route. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm one of the men that holds a lot of the stuff inside of me. Where if we were friends, I would come to you one day and be like, look, man, let me talk to you, man. I'm going through X, Y, and Z. What should I do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of men these days do that.
Yeah.
How you guys feel?
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot don't. I agree with that.
I think what you're talking about though is important, and I think that like I want to talk about some of the effects of that, right? So like when you I bottled everything in when I was a kid, and it would come out like somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'm losing my mind, or if I like you get in a hurry and then you like your pants get caught on the door or something, like you just lose it, right? And it like I would bottle all these things in. I'm not processed. I'm not dealing with it, not talking about it. And then it comes out in unexpected ways. I think that would you agree that's kind of what happens maybe with you if you hold things in? Does it like?
Well, I look at it like this, you know what I'm saying? There has been times that I may be going through something and I may go to somebody and explain whatever it is that I'm going through. But there's also people to say, oh, that's that quote unquote light skin thing. There you go, you crying and you soft, like you said earlier, or whatever. So it's ways that you can go about it and it's ways that you don't. And I don't want people to judge me because if I'm seeking help and I'm seeking it in the wrong area, I'm going to hear some wrong things. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to approach people or the right person, I say,
that's right,
about something that you're going through.
That's right.
And if it's somebody that I trust and somebody I'm close with or whatever, then I will reach out to that person. But you can't do it to any and everybody.
That's a
right.
fact. That's a fact.
So
Yeah, I think you really, go ahead.
I think all men should have at least one person, or maybe a couple of friends that they can go to, and have that conversation with, because like that, what you just said, that light skin thing. Would you tell them next time you blacker than them?
I use it all the time. Hey, I've been a barber, been cutting hair for 28 years. In a barbershop, I go through all that.
But every man needs someone they can go talk to.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I
agree. Yeah. And I think when you hold it in, it's kind of like you're poisoning yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not doing anything good by, I'm not talking to you necessarily, but just in general. But it's like it's just kind of eating away at you. You're not getting it's a liability, not an asset, right? There ain't no good ROI on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my first, I guess you can call it a mental health experience, but my first dealings with something like that was people heard me talking about this before with my father. I started experiencing at 42, like missing my father. Although we have a great relationship, I didn't grow up with him, but we have a great relationship. It was days I would be crying. I see father and son things, I'll be crying. I'll be in the shower, start thinking about my father, be crying. I'll be sitting in my game room. Might see something on TV, but father and son be crying. Everything was just, I'm like, man, what? I'm 42 years old. I done been through all this, and now I'm crying about my father. But I never had talked to a therapist or a counselor, anything about it. Because me and my father, we good. I love, we got a great relationship. That's was just one of those experiences. I don't know where it came. Well, I know where it came from. My uncle and my cousin, they posted a picture on Facebook, and I forgot to caption what it was, but made me think about not growing up with my father. And for a while, it just hit me. And every now and then, I think about the certain things that I see or hear people talking about, and it might hit me a little bit. I might not cry no more, but I still think, man,
it hurt. Yeah, you can still feel it.
Matter of fact, just about probably 2 days ago, I was like, man, I forgot what it was I was listening to. Maybe somebody talking in the shop. I was like, I wonder how it would have been with my father in my life. Things he would have showed me, or how that would have been. So I still think about that.
I think like that as well, being that, like I said, I got kids, you know what I'm saying? There's things that my dad never did with me that I wanted to teach my kids, how to ride the bike when they was younger, or take my kids fishing or something. Of course, I'd have been fishing with my father or whatever, but a lot of those things that I picked up as a young child that I did with my father, I try to, repeat those things with my kids. Or I also think about things that my father didn't do with me, and I do it with my children as well,
And I think, Leon, what you was talking about is, and what I did too, is something happens and then maybe it's shame or guilt, whatever it is, makes you feel like I shouldn't even be feeling this way. And so I'm just going to put this to the side. But we're not computers. We're not robots. That's not how, that's not really how reality is. You can't just control, alt, delete, and then boom, that memory's gone. Like it'll be there forever. And so I think you put it off, but then eventually something's going to come back around where either you deal with it or it's going to deal with you. You know what I'm saying?
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. Do y'all have anybody in your life, any men in your life that holds you accountable for things that you shouldn't be doing, or oh, you need to do this, you shouldn't do that?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have anybody I can talk that will say no, see if you're doing something wrong or you're headed somewhere that they can tell you nah, they can
Me
check
personally,
you like,
I'll be the first one to start off. I don't. You know, I don't have close relationship. I'm not gonna say with family members because I don't have a big family like that. Like I mentioned before, I was adopted, so I really don't know my extended family. And then when it comes to friends, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing to say, but I really don't have a lot of friends. You know, I really stick to myself, and I don't rely on anybody else. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying all men are the same. You know, there's some men that have 2 or 3 homeboys that they hang out with.
Right.
They communicate well, but on the other hand, that's not me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
now,
Maybe I should have someone like that.
me knowing you personally, how long I've been knowing you since what?
Since
9, 10?
2009, me and you started
somewhere
in
right now.
barbershop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me knowing you will be that person for somebody because you would say what's on your mind. And
Right.
I've known you to tell the truth, whether it's right or wrong. You know,
Yeah.
somebody's right or wrong, you speak your mind.
Yes.
Whether it's your opinion or not, you're gonna speak it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So you will be that person for somebody.
Right.
What about
So
you?
it'd be the other way for me, right?
Yeah.
Because I know through experience and the things that I went through, if I see somebody going through certain things, I would definitely, not to say it in the wrong way, but I'll put them in check. Let them know the route that they need to be going, and not to hold stuff in.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's true.
What about you, Malik?
Me, I tell you the truth, man. God Almighty, my religion, pull me through all the time. Because it's people that you could talk to, and they can give you wrong advice.
Mm-hmm.
And you be like, just ask them this, and they telling me something. What?
Mm-hmm.
So I rely more on my religion and take guidance from God Almighty and weigh the options, what's best for me. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna decide for you what's best for you. Nobody can't tell you what's best for you but you, because you live in the situation. You can hear people advice and get people input to help somewhat, but at the end of the day, it's your decision for knowing, what's best for you.
Right. I feel like I might be the odd man out with this, but I've been blessed. I've had a core group of friends that from middle school, high school, through college, and then even my early years in the Air Force, and I've been real blessed to have people that I can call on, I can count on, and I think we've always had a nature of accountability within us anyway. Like, if somebody's tripping, hey, you don't need to be out here drinking like that. Like, it ain't like, and it's not, it doesn't come from a place of I'm better than you or superiority. It's like, I love you, I care about you. We don't get down like that.
That's
You know what I'm saying? And I think with that being said, I have a great circle of friends and loved ones, but I don't go to all of them for advice.
Right.
I think your shot selection is important. Like, like I'm not going to talk to somebody that's never been married, no kids, about marriage and parenting advice. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk to my friends that, I'm going to go, if my friend is, he's in finance and all this other stuff, he's who I'm going to pick his brain about accounting and investing. And my friend that, is whatever, philosophical, whatever the case is, I'm going to go to that person for that thing. Like, we know each other well enough where I might not ask this person about that.
Right.
But I do have, somebody that I can go to about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But what you're saying, like, I think it's important to have discernment when somebody gives you advice to, if somebody's telling you, hey, you know what they're telling you is wrong, that's important too.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now you will ask me what I think about things.
All the time. All the time. All the time. But you don't like to say it either. Leon give me 5 words and be like, I told you what I said.
Hey, look, you want me to say stuff in a different way. I'm like, how you want me to say it?
I'd be like, expound on that. He'd be like, no.
All right. We about to end in a minute, but look, let me ask you all this question. What's something that you're still working on as far as yourself? You know, what's, to better yourself?
Improving myself in every way because I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
Yep, every day.
Yeah, nobody is, but
Yeah.
nobody is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Me on my end, focusing on myself, I do need to be, I think I need to be a stronger man and be a leader in certain things that I do. Be able to have confidence in whatever it is that I'm facing. So yeah, I kind of focus on, what it takes for me to step up and, be strong behind my word. And when I say strong, I'm not talking about in a violent way or anything, but as people say, I mean what I say, that type thing,
Word
so
is bond.
I want to be that type of person. Yeah.
I think for me, get out of the military, really trying to make sure my finances in order and making sure I got a plan for what's next. And I'm always trying to get closer with Christ and that walk. I think that's been the most important thing for me by far.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to cut this off because a lot of times the best conversations come when the camera's off.
That's right. Camera goes off. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what would y'all leave? Y'all have anything else y'all want to say or anything else on your mind that y'all would like to leave the people?
Hey, just pray and try and do your best. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like these things that we talked about, like I know somebody out there has experienced something like that. And as somebody that dealt with depression and, suicidal thoughts and all that for so long, man, find the right person, find the right outlet, get you some loved ones around you. Or who I'm gonna say, follow Jesus. but yeah, these things are real. But there's hope. You know what I'm saying? There's always hope. There's always hope.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that, man. If people are going through any type of depression, anxiety, PTSD, anything that you're facing, always reach out to someone and don't think you're by yourself or you're alone. True. There's always somebody out there that can help you, whether you believe it or not. So
I'm sorry. I know we about to end, but you made me think about something. It's something that we naturally do when we get depressed is we start to distance ourselves from people. We start to isolate ourselves. We start putting up walls between us and the thing that we're dealing with. And we do it kind of as a safety, I think as a safety measure. Like that's, right. We want to feel safe and comfort. So instead of, we put up these walls and things like that. Right. I would just say that the more isolated you are, the more isolated you make yourself, right. the harder it is for you the more walls you put up between you and the problem, the harder it's going to be right. to deal with that problem. So I think it's hard, really hard to take down the walls and but if you can.
That's how you find out, who your true friends are. If you got some friends and they be like, okay, well, we ain't seen him in a day or two. Let me find out what's going on. So they reach out to you.
That's
but
right.
If you don't have nobody reaching out to you and they don't care and 2-3 days go by and you ain't hear from them,
that's right.
They might not be your friend.
No, that's right. I agree with you on that.
So when you're around, true friends and they ain't seen you in a little while, they'll constantly check up on you. And if they check up on you and they see you not in the best mood, then their job is to pull you out that hole and let's go out somewhere. Let's go to the gym. Let's go shoot ball or something.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Got to be around the right company.
100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I had to just say that. My bad.
You good. Yo, this has been a great episode of the Forward Social Conversations. Look, if you are needing help and need to talk to somebody, look, have that conversation. Don't be afraid to open up to someone. And don't give up on God. And he won't give up on you.
Amen.
So there you have it for another episode of Fort Social Conversations. Well, we talk about a lot of things, but not everything, because everything don't need to be talked about. Peace.